Muy buenos días para todos. De vuelta, mi nombre es Naomi y estoy con mi colega Alejandra. Ale es también asesora de EducationUSA. Bueno, a mí ya me conocen, creo, algunos chicos porque ya hace varios años que estoy trabajando con la organización y Ale es nuestra Bright New Star, ¿verdad? Acaba de comenzar con nosotros, así que Ale, te voy a dejar unos minutos para que puedas presentarte y contarles a los alumnos acerca de tu vasta trayectoria estudiando en Estados Unidos.
Sí, ¿qué tal? Mi nombre es Alejandra. Yo soy asesora de Education USA y empecé el año pasado, este año realmente más bien, a trabajar con Education USA. Em, Estudié en Estados Unidos mi carrera de grado y mi maestría. Mi maestría terminé el año pasado, en agosto, y volví a Paraguay para trabajar por acá nomás. Y sí, estamos muy emocionadas, ¿verdad?, de poder ayudarles con este proceso de aplicación a este tipo de becas, porque es una muy buena oportunidad. Y la parte de escribir ensayos es una parte muy importante del proceso, no solamente para esta beca, sino que para cualquier otra oportunidad que tengan para seguir formándose académicamente, ¿verdad? Entonces, como dijo Naomi, al final de la presentación vamos a compartir nuestros correos. Yo ahora mismo estoy trabajando en la oficina de San Lorenzo, en el campus de la UNA, em, y pueden acercarse también a mi oficina o escribirnos un correo em, cuando, o sea, si es que necesitan cualquier cosa.
Buenísimo. Thank you very much, Ale. So we're gonna start switching to English. Yes. Some of the explanations I believe are still in Spanish, but we'll try to make the best of English and Spanish. Okay, so you can get used to practicing your language skills as well. And something very important that Ale touched on and that I want to emphasize is that essay writing is not a skill only for Fulbright. Essay writing is a skill for life, okay? For any other scholarships you might want to apply, or more importantly, if you are going to the US and you are going to take classes, you're gonna take master's classes or PhD lectures, and you're gonna be a student in the United States, you have to have the essay writing skill, okay? You need to know what composes an essay, yes, and you need to know how to start one without being extremely afraid to do so, yes? So if you've never heard of Education USA, yes, let me give you a brief introduction. We are an US Department of State network. We have advising centers or advising offices in many different countries around the world. Here in Paraguay, we currently have 4 advising centers, 2 of them in the central area of the country. You have one in Asunción in the CCPA, and you have one in San Lorenzo where Ale works, and that's inside the library at UNA, yes, the National University of Asunción. And then we have 2 other offices at the east of the country. That's where I'm located. So you have one inside the National University of the East, inside of UNE, and you have one inside of the Anglo-Americano School. That's inside of the Paraná Country Club in Hernandarias, okay? So with that, we have 4 different locations around the country. And you can reach out to us either in person or you could just send us an email and we can organize a virtual meeting, a one-on-one meeting, or just answer your questions via email or however you prefer, okay? So the main objectives of the Education USA network is to offer comprehensive and free information, accurate information about studying in the United States. Okay, so anything related to your undergraduate, your licenciaturas, okay, or your master's like we're doing now, or your PhD, or your postdocs, or short exchanges, or English language courses in the US. Yes, anything related to higher education in the United States, Education USA is your official source on that information. Okay, if you have any more questions, or you would like to browse and get to know a bit more about Education USA, the official website of the network is educationusa.state.gov. I'm leaving that here. But we also have one website that's in Spanish, and that's educationusa.org.py. Yes, that's our in-country website. So either one will give you accurate information about what the network does. Yes. So let's begin talking about Fulbright essays. Yes, that's what you came here for. Just as a reminder, we already had a Fulbright essay workshop. I want to say like a month ago, might be 3 weeks, but I believe it's close to a month ago. And that recording is on our YouTube page. So if you want to check that out, you can just go to YouTube, put Education USA Paraguay, and you check the videos that are on our channel, and you will find the recording of the presentation we did before. So this sort of is a part 2 for that, but you don't need to have had watched that one before you come to this one. Yes, you can just start from this one. That's fine. So as a recap from the first session of essay writing, just as a reminder that for Fulbright, for this scholarship, you will need to write 2 main essays. Okay. Now, the first essay is your personal statement, and that's what we're going to focus more on today. We also brought an example of a personal statement that we can analyze together. Yes. So this personal statement has to be between 900 and 1100 words. Okay. Entre 900 a 1100 palabras. And it has to be more focused on your academic and professional history. Okay. And then you have another essay that's a shorter one. That's why we call it the short essay. And that's with a question that's specific to Paraguay. Okay. So Fulbright is a worldwide scholarship that the US Department of State offers. And for Paraguay, they created a specific question that they want an answer to. That's why we call that the country-specific essay, yes, or the country-specific question. And it has a minimum of 800 words according to the guide that was released this year, yes, the current guide. And what you have to do is answer that question, yes. Now, I believe it was Matthias or Mika, I can't remember, but one of the guys, of the people who joined a little bit earlier, we were talking and they mentioned something that's very important. They said, on the country-specific essay, I get to express more of my feelings, or I can be more sentimental, right? And that's up to an extent very true, right? On your personal statement, you want to maintain that essay as professional and academical as possible, right? But then for the other short essays, like your country specific, you get to show more of your feelings or of your passions or of your sentiments or what you're really, well, as I said, passionate about, right? So yeah, that's a brief difference between both of them, yes. And there are other mini essays, yes, these are more like questions where you have to answer them in around 250 words, okay? These other questions are on the form, yes, and you get to explain about the honors you might have received during your undergraduate courses, your study objectives, any research you might have done in the past, or you might you're still doing, right? So you get to talk about those things in depth in these mini essays, yes. And then if anyone here is applying or is gonna try the postdoc, the Fulbright postdoc scholarship, there is a different guide for that. So I'm linking that in here, but if you want us to send you the link, you can also just email us, but everything is online and on the Instagram, I think, of everyone. So you can just check them out there as well. Now, as I said, we're going to focus more on the personal statement. So let's get the country specific out of the way. So you need to write a short essay, well, short in quotes. It needs to have a minimum of 800 words, and it's going to answer this word, that's this statement that's for Paraguay. Yes, you need to elaborate on how your resilience skills have equipped you for an international exchange experience, okay? Now, if you are not using English every day for your work, or perhaps you have studied English very long time in the past and you're now trying to get used to the language again, there are some words that might scare you or that you might have never seen or you might not use in your everyday English here on this statement, but that's no need to panic, okay? You are gonna elaborate on how your resilience skills, okay? Now these are skills, yes, well you can just Google these, but these are skills that showcase how, I wanna use the word tough, right? How difficult it is to put you down. Yes, you are very resilient, you're very strong. Okay, so how these skills have equipped you, yes, how these skills gave you tools, yes, for an international exchange experience, yes, to experience something abroad as an international student, okay? And yes, you're gonna analyze this question and you then get to elaborate your essay, okay? Now, on the previous workshop, we did go into a lot more depth with the country specific. We gave you tips on how to answer these, and we did sort of like in parts, like how to start, how to do it in the middle, how to finish the essay. So as I said, you can go to our YouTube page and check that out, okay? Now, we are here for the most important part, the personal statement. And I wanted to ask Ale if she could share a bit with us about her experience writing a personal statement or a statement of purpose, and what do you think the scholarship is looking for in a statement of purpose?
Okay, great. So as Naomi said, or as I said, I have applied to a master's program. I applied to a few schools in the US, and my experience in writing this statement of purpose has been like structuring the essay in a way that showcases what my professional and academic objectives were. What have I done during my undergraduate degree to kind of prepare myself for graduate school? What kind of courses I have taken? What kind of research I had completed? So any kind of experience that I've had that was related to the master's program that I wanted to get into, I mentioned that. And I also talked about how those experiences helped me prepare for, the rigor of a master's program. So I applied to 2 master's programs in geography and 1 in Latin American studies. I eventually chose the Latin American studies program to complete my master's there. And I had done some, undergraduate research experience. I participated in conferences, wrote some, papers and things like that. So I talked about that. But if you personally have not had the chance to do those things because, it looks different, your school doesn't have those kinds of opportunities for all students, or you just didn't have the time, you can talk about anything else that you might have done that contributes to, you know, who you are as a person, what you want to get out of this master's program. So if you have like a job, or if you like did any kind of like volunteering experience, anything that kind of contributes to who you want to be, with, you know, this master's or doctorate degree, and how it has helped you get ready for this kind of experience. Yes.
That's exactly right. And we're actually gonna take a look at Alice's statement of purpose, the one that she used to get into grad school. So this is a gold statement of purpose. And we're gonna take a look at that just in a couple more minutes so we can analyze it. And so what does Fulbright or really any scholarship or university look for in a personal statement? Is basically anything that's non-quantifiable, right? All of the characteristics that we cannot put a number to, okay? So how much do you know about history? Well, you take a history exam and you have a grade for that and you get your GPA afterwards, right? So we know how much you know about that. Yes, we have your grades, we have your GPA. But there are many more things that compose who you are, that make who you are, that are nearly impossible to put a number to. Yes. So these are the characteristics that you want to expand on. Yes. These might include your professional strengths, right? What are you good in? Yes. Your goals, your passions for a career field. It is important to remember that graduate school is very competitive. Yes. Undergraduate school, of course, that's competitive enough. But then once you graduate and you look into the pool of kids or students who want to continue their higher education journey, then you get even more competitive, right? So these are students that get selected because of their commitment to achieving success and their commitment to better themselves and to better their country or their society with the program they wanna study, right? So what can you include in your statement of purpose? It's always important to answer the prompt, okay? So something I wanted to ask Ale is if you still remember the prompt of your personal statement or of your essay for this one. But yeah, I'm sure that once we read it, we will sort of understand what it's answering to, right? Yeah,
I don't
yes.
personally remember because it was like 5 years ago that I started applying to grad school. So I don't remember specifically, but I do remember that I wrote, since I was applying to different schools, I wrote kind of like a template, and then I adjusted that to the question, the specific question that each school was asking.
Exactly.
So the core of the essay was kind of the same, but I adjusted, you know, the details to, you know, to fit better with what each school was looking for and what each program specifically was looking for.
Exactly, exactly. That's very good to do. And just as a reminder for anyone here who perhaps has never written an essay before, don't put the pressure on yourself that your first draft is going to be your final draft. Yes. So the first thing that you write, it's almost never going to be the final product. Yes. Do you remember, Ale, how many tries it took you?
Absolutely. The first draft is gonna be very rough, very you're gonna want to look for feedback, like have friends read your essay, have maybe like professors that you have a good relationship with, read your essay and give you like any kind of feedback. We also at Education USA can give you feedback on your essays once you have a draft that you're happy with. You know, that's probably not going to be the final one that you send. It's still going to have some more work to make it better, like to make it more outstanding for the selection committee. So yeah, you have to be prepared to write and write and write, like maybe at least 3 times revising the same as read it. So have to first sit down and like write your draft and answer the question, and then you know have some other people read it and give you feedback, and then keep working. So it's a constant revision process. So it can be a little frustrating when you think it's, you know, in your head it's like, oh, this is really good, I'm just gonna send this, but then somebody else tells you, this part can be like a little better if you talk about this and this more, or maybe like let's not include this specific part. So you know it can be hard to get that kind of feedback that is not necessarily good. Like I think all feedback is good feedback, but I completely understand that the process of getting feedback makes a lot of people nervous. So it makes me nervous. Like whenever I write something and I get like feedback, I'm always nervous that it's gonna be like, oh, this is trash, don't use it. And it's never gonna be like that. Like nobody's gonna tell you, oh, this is trash, don't use it. So yeah, it's always going to be someone that's going to try to help you point at specific things to make your essay stronger and to make it stand out more um, for the specific uh, program that you're applying to.
Exactly. Yes. And if you ran out of things to say on your essay, which I hope doesn't happen, but sometimes we do get sort of a blank moment and we don't know what to continue writing about, you can try and answer the question, why you? Right? Like, why should Fulbright choose you for admission to, not admission, for to be a beneficiary to their program, right? So why you? What makes you different? What makes you stand out? What makes you unique? Yes. And by answering that why you question, you might get your ideas flowing. Yes. And you might get to see how else you are of value to the program, right? So it's 10:30, so we're gonna do our breakout rooms. We are 14 people, Ali. That means that each of us can take 7, yes? And what I was thinking is, well, 13 now, someone left, but that's fine. No need to panic. But I was thinking we can give the students some, I don't know, like 5 minutes up to 8, 9 minutes so they can read your statement of purpose that I'm going to share the link with all of you here. And after that, we can discuss on any ideas that you got from reading that, or how does that relate to your experience? How can you use this as an example of getting started with your own essay? Yes. And I got a chance to talk to the students who arrived here earlier. So I know that most of them didn't bring their own essay or the draft of their essay for us to take a look at. But if any of you did bring a draft or your statement of purpose or something that you wrote and you want Ale and I to give you some feedback, we can do that in our breakout rooms as well, okay? So I'm gonna stop the recording so we can organize the breakout rooms, and we will see you back here for the end of the meeting.